Alright, so how did I get started on Turo? So it was back in 2019, and I think it was summer. My brother and me were looking to get another car. I think I was driving an old Volvo V70 back then. It was my first car. Been driving for about a year. I think I passed my test in summer 2018. And had a year of like ridiculous insurance prices, of course. And someone had told me about not Turo, but that you could sort of buy a car. There's actually a friend of mine said we should buy a car and then rent it out and people take pictures of it. And obviously I was skeptical. And it's hard to take out some money, just for that. But anyway, after being driving for a year, I needed a new car. Couldn't hack that anymore. So if I'm paying this much for insurance, then I may as well pay it for a good car. So I don't know. We're looking at BMWs because one of our friends works at a service centre, and he said, "Yeah, go buy some BMWs, and then or go buy a BMW at that point, and at least I'll be able to service it for you. And then when you choose it, he can tell you about different things in case we didn't know." Like which options to get and what year to get and stuff like that. So I was looking at the 5 Series, right? So this was 2019. So I was looking at 2016 5 Series, the F10. It was at a good price. I think they're running around 15k for like a decent mileage one had to have like M Sport and stuff, of course. So they're running around 15k, and then we had another friend who's a car dealer, and he was like, "Why don't you just buy it from auction?" And I was looking at the auction websites, for BCA, and it was just a mess. Compared to like Auto Trader, we can see everything about the car, and the dealer tells you everything about the car, and you'll be able to see, what specs it has, the mileage it has, whether it has full service history. The auction was kind of like, might have this, might not. You kind of got to work out the specs by looking at the pictures, which are also rubbish. There's like 9 photos. They're in like potato quality of like a Nokia brick. And you can't even see things. Like for example, that has electric seats. You don't know because you can't see, because they don't take a picture of wide enough from the seats. So you kind of got to figure that out. It's kind of hit and miss. But that's also where sticking to a brand, and I'll talk about this later. But that's where sort of sticking to one brand helps, because it's easy to figure out specs. Like I know that if this car has M Sport Plus. And I know it would have that from the blue brake calipers or something on a 3 Series, then it means that it probably has Harman Kardon sound system, probably. So it's easy to work out that, and so that's why I stick to one brand. But we'll talk about that later. So the pictures were rubbish, everything like that, and I was like, I don't know. It was my first car, and I was going to get a loan. I sort of secured the loan. I knew I could get the loan. For around 50k to start this, and also I was skeptical because I was like, well, if this doesn't work, then it's still got to be a car that I'd want to pay for, and can afford just myself to pay anyway. So I had to take all of those factors into consideration. Anyway, we're looking for a few, then went to see a couple of cars from dealers. I test drove them because I haven't driven one of these cars before. I've driven a couple of my friends' cars, but not properly. So I let's turn left here. Trying to find some decent roads without any traffic, but it's difficult now, isn't it? So I started looking on auction more, and he gave me his sort of like login to have a look. And I was having a look, and there seemed to be a lot that I could see that I would like. So they had, most of the specs I would like, obviously colour you can see from the photos, things like that. So we're bidding on a couple. Anyway, so there's one came up again, pretty good. Had lots of bits. Had a couple of scratches around, things like that. Because what you can see on BCA is a like sort of assured report, which is basically a mechanical report, which tells you anything serious, so like if the engine's smoking or something, it's not going to tell you everything. I wouldn't trust it for that. And there's also like a condition report, which basically shows you any scratches it has. And to be fair, that's quite thorough. In terms of like exterior and interior damage, like if it has scratches or the alloys, they take a photo of the alloys and they write it down and describe it, and sometimes they'll take a photo to specifically show that. But it won't show things like if in the description it doesn't say anything about service history, it's not necessarily that they're going to show you on the iDrive whether it has service history or not from BMW. So pulled the plug and we bid on it. I think we got it for like 13 something. I'm not going to quote on that. 13 something. Oh, that was our first car. Went to the auction, went and got it. Insured myself, which was still hefty, but talk about another time. Insurance is always going to be hefty, especially for me. We got it, and then I needed to fix it first because it had some scratches, and I don't know, I wanted to fix the alloys, wanted to make it perfect because I thought that if I'm renting and people want to see like a perfect car and stuff like that, which they do, but so I took it to a body shop that I knew, and they fixed it up, spent some money on that. Did its first service with my friend at BMW, and it was all good. I'd been driving it for like a week, 2 weeks, and I'd just fallen in love. It was such a good car. I mean, I know I'd coming from an absolute waft of a Volvo, it just wafts down the street, no connection to the ground, straight to an M Sport 5 Series. But I had driven a couple of Mercedes, an E-Class and S-Class, and a 4 Series, the Grand Coupe. And this was just brilliant. The 5 Series was just brilliant. It was a 520D because the tax was 30 quid, which is another story because the tax on these is definitely not 30 quid. But the tax on it was 30 quid. So that was cheap to do that. The insurance group was decent, and insurance for it again was decent, so whatever. 2 litre diesel was what it was, and I didn't think that having a bigger engine would rent it out for any more. And as soon as we put it on, it got rented like the next day. The first mention was a guy in Shepherd's Bush or something. I still remember him. I won't say his name, but super cool guy. I rented it, going for the weekend to see some family. And later we'll be finding out that renting on the weekend to go see family or go do something quickly for one day was the most popular reason why people rent. I mean, it seems obvious, but when you're starting, you have no idea. Yeah, he did that, and then he brought it back. All was fine, but one of the alloys was like seriously scratched up, like all around. I think it's the front left, which is usually the alloy that is most, because it's away from people can't really see it. And even if you put your wing mirror down, that only shows you the back alloy. He scratched that alloy up pretty bad. I actually noticed after we checked out and after we gone. And right then I knew it was like around £50 to refurb, because I'd refurbed them all straight away when I bought the car. So I was like, oh mate, look, and you can see it's obvious for the photos. Oh, you scratched it. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realise, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he paid the £50, I was like, no problem. And then I went and got them refurbed. But then I found out that you can only refurb alloys like a set amount of times. Then came to a dilemma of like, well, what am I going to do every time someone scratches the alloy? I can't just throw away the wheel and buy a new one after like the 4th time that someone scratches them, because I can't refurb them. So I had that in my mind. But anyway, it was great. And then a couple more people rented. We actually got one of our second or third rentals was actually someone who was getting married. He's getting married in Leeds. And yeah, he rented our car, which we were super surprised about. It's like not exactly a wedding car, I thought. Apparently it is. So I'll throw up a couple of pictures of the cars if I have them, and each one when I talk about them, just to show you. But yeah, you have a look. You'll be like, oh, it's a nice car, but it's not exactly like a Rolls Royce or something. I wouldn't use it for wedding. Anyway, whatever. He used it, and it was great. He sent us a photo, which I don't think I have anymore, but it was a photo of the car with the wedding ribbons on it, which was lovely to see. So, and then we had more and more rentals, and from there it sort of blew up. And then the next step was my brother started a new job where he could drive to work. So he was like, he wanted a car, and then he was like, well, if we get a car, like another car that we can also rent out as well, then that'd be good. Like rent out on the weekends when he's not using it, right? Help pay for the car, blah blah blah. So we did. We bought a 2017 520D. So that was a, I think the code for that is like G30, I think. Oh, that might be wrong. It's embarrassing. But anyway, it was the new generation of 5 Series, the ones like I'm driving now. I'll show a picture. And that was beautiful. I think so it's M Sport, but it came with the rubbish, not rubbish, but the 18-inch wheels. And it wasn't tinted. And the only spec it had was reversing camera. And I say that because the 2016 5 Series ago, I had M Sport Plus, so it had like the spoiler in the back, not the spoiler, but the boot lip. It had the Harman Kardon sound, you know, I think, you know, that was it, whatever. Was this just had reversing camera? Didn't have any Harman Kardon. No tint, no nothing. So, it didn't look that good, but as soon as we got it, tinted the windows, and they were actually really tinted, because the guy was like, either you can go one lighter than BMW's tint, or you can go one darker. I think one lighter looked too shit, so I went one darker, and it was really dark, but whatever. We also went and bought some 19-inch wheels. I'll show you the wheels. I'll show you a picture of those wheels, which made the car look great. 67 plate, so you know, still in warranty. And same thing happened, that started renting out, you know, a lot. That proved very, very popular, and we could rent that out for a little bit more as well, because it looked a little bit more fancy. And then so we bought that in August 2019, so it was only like a month or two later. So that shows how you know, quick things were going. I'll talk about finances another day. I know I said I got a loan for the first car, but we'll probably go through finance and stuff like that another day, and how you can get the money together and different ways you can do it, things like that. But so yeah, so this was, now we're in September 2019, and earlier that year I'd booked a trip to Bali for 1 month with my girlfriend, which we went on with and was fantastic. But luckily we met someone at Renter who then wanted to rent for like quite a long time, so he rented, and that fell over the month that I was away, so that was convenient. Otherwise I would have had taken off, because my brother's at work every day and he could rent on the weekends, which he did whilst I was gone. But apart from that, you know, I was the one running it. So I came back from Bali, and then during that time we were like, yeah, we got to get another car, because this is getting really, really busy, and plus my brother's using the one every day to drive to work, so he has to use that. And so we need another car. So I was looking at 3 Series, because like, we've got 2 5 Series, can't we get another one like that? I want to spice it up with the colour as well, because they were both black. Actually no, they were both carbon black, yeah, which let me tell you is not black in BMW's terms. Carbon black for BMW is like, in the nighttime it looks black, but in the daytime when it has light it looks very, very dark navy. So it's not black, so be aware of that. Also, there's another thing about BCA is that they get the colours wrong. You know, they'll say black and it's not, and it's blue, or like a dark blue, given that, but it's a dark blue, but still it's definitely not black, and it's not like the carbon black in these where it's like maybe. It's definitely a blue, and they get that wrong. So that's another thing to be aware of. But anyway, that's a little bit of my BCA rant. You can tell that it's never plain sailing with this stuff. So we get back, and it's now October. I come back from a trip, refreshed. It's brilliant, great trip. Maybe I'll do a video on that or something. And we're looking for the 3 Series. Now this one, bear in mind that the 2017 5 Series, new 5 Series, we also bought from auction. We'll talk about the price of that in another video. We're looking for 3 Series, but for the 3 Series, now this is a 3 Series, the F generation 3 Series. So they were really difficult to find a good spec on BCA. And it was really important for the 3 Series, I think, to get good spec, as in M Sport, maybe M Sport Plus with the nicer M Sport wheels, the blue brake calipers, you know, made a big difference, and to get, you know, good sound system, things like that. And they just wouldn't come up on BCA. You know, there was loads of those like weird blue coloured ones. There wasn't any black or grey or, you know, things like that. So it's quite difficult. So I started looking with some dealers, and anyway, I settled on one from a dealer. He was up in like, I don't know, Birmingham something, I think. And yeah, it was a good price, a really good price. And I think he was like a dealer, but he came in and out of stock, so he didn't have like a big pile of cars. This was like his last car left that he was selling before he wanted to I think he was selling all his cars to be able to buy a new house or something like that. So he was selling off pretty good, and we got a good deal on that, so I bought that. So it was a 2015 320D in a nice, I think it was called pearlescent grey with tinted windows, and it was beautiful. It was really, really good, and it was in really good condition as well. He just refurbed everything, so it was in perfect condition. So we got that, and again, that rented out really good. We kept that for a long time. Yeah, I'll tell you when I sold it, but I'll put a picture of that up as well. And yeah, we're renting through, and it was going really, really well. If we fast forward to coronavirus, so the time was January, February, March 2020. Yeah, still renting a fair lot. It's alright, going pretty good. Generally Christmas is good, but around Christmas is not so good. So, you know, at Christmas people are going to see their family, they rent some cars, but actually around Christmas, like before, like in December and in January after, it's pretty dead. You know, like no one's going to Brighton to go visit the seaside and, you know, stuff like that. So it's pretty dead. Now we want to sell the original 5 Series that we got, because it was renting good, but not as good as the newer 5 Series, and we were like, look, the price difference is not that bad, or not that different. Let's sell it and buy another one like this 5 Series or something different. And also the fact that we had 2 5 Series out of 3 cars that we had, it would be nicer to spice it up a little bit. So we're looking to sell it. I think we put it up for sale on Auto Trader, and in that case we came up with the idea to just put them all on Auto Trader for a little bit of a higher price, as in as soon as we bought them, and then if someone wants them, they can have them. Everything's for sale. Everything's always for sale. They can have them, and then if not, then we rent them out. So turning into like a dealer, I guess. Put that up, and whatever, we're still renting out. And then coronavirus hit. I think we got a couple like big rentals just before coronavirus, you know, all the lockdowns in the UK here actually, you know, came in properly. And so that was good. But then during the lockdowns, it was absolutely dead. After those big rentals, it wasn't even like a slow decline, it was just gone. Which, yeah, is hard. But with coronavirus, we were able to get some funding. Again, I'll save that for the funding video. Our cars were sort of sitting there, but we were confident that when we came out of lockdown, it would all be fine, and hopefully everyone would be renting cars left, right and centre to go and do things and make up for lost time, which, fast forward, they did. But we'll get onto that. And we wanted to sell that first 5 Series, the 2016 5 Series, so we were actually, you know, actively looking to sell that. So it was priced pretty well. And anyway, a couple of people called every now and again, and you learn this. I'll give you more stories of these, but you once you start putting a few cars up on Auto Trader, you get all types of people calling you with all types of different things that they're saying and stuff like that. Now, the other 2 cars that we have are also up for sale, right? So as I said before, you know, we decided to just put them all up for sale, and it's going pretty good. But fast forward a couple of months to like June, I think, when lockdowns ended, something like that, sometime around June. Anyway, whenever lockdown ended, we were getting really, really busy, like really busy. So I don't know, people just wanted to make up for the lost time that they had, people came. There was loads of one-day rentals, especially on the weekend. Every single weekend, we had no cars. They were just gone because people were just going anywhere. So I'll be like, oh, where are you going? You're gonna have a nice time. Where you off to? They'll be like, I don't know. We're going to Brighton or something. I just need to get away for one day. You know, these people just wanted to get somewhere, and I don't blame them. I actually went on a little road trip myself. We were just bidding on loads of cars, like loads of 5 Series on BCA, because one thing you learn is that, you know, if you want to get a good deal on BCA, you've got to be not looking for a specific spec, and you just kind of got to be open about different things, and you've got to be able to bid on, you know, like 50 cars before the one you have comes through. You know, like you're bidding on, you're seeing the cars that you like and that you want, and you know, you go onto the auction and it's just too expensive, you know, 50 times, and then it'll become the one where, I don't know, all the dealers that want to do are sleeping or something, or all on the lunch break or something, no one's paying attention, and it goes through for a good price underneath. So we got the first car we got, I think it was a 2017 67 plate 430i, and again, no pictures or nothing to show anything, so it just looked pretty good. It was in a good spec, obviously it had sport, nice wheels, stuff like that. I wanted a 4 Series to change it up, so we got that, and that was brilliant. When that came, I then saw it had like memory seats, it had adaptive suspension. I knew it had harm kind of from the pictures, luckily you could actually see that. But anyway, it had that, it had adaptive headlights, it had a couple of other things that I can't remember, like wireless charging, things like that, which, you know, for those cars, because it's only a 4 Series, was a big deal. So I was super happy about that. Just remember that these specs don't really help too much with renting, but they do help with resale, and obviously any specs that you want when you drive it. But, you know, some people sort of look for it or enjoy it when they rent it and they appreciate it, but mostly it's about the resale, to be honest, and how the car keeps its value. That rented like a bomb. That was out all the time as well. That was really, really good. It had loads of trips. Just doing really well. Another one, I think the second car we got was then another 2075 Series 520D, and that was in a bit of a different spec. It had like cream interior. It was a little bit nicer. It was nice to have that and another 5 Series, but, you know, we were getting a lot of 5 Series, but they were renting really well. 5 Series was still our most popular car. You know, because people could take it, they could go out like 4 or 5 of them. Could, you know, use it because there's loads of space in it, or one person can use it, you know, to go see family or go on a business trip or whatever they do, and, you know, so it's really versatile, really good, and they look banging, and no one else had them on Turo as well. People had some old 5 Series, because I'll talk about the types of cars that are already on Turo, at least in the UK or my area, and on another video, but people loved them and they kept coming back for them. And also the other standout car was like the 3 Series, that was doing really well with a different type of customer, you know, people that sort of were just like renting it. They rented it for a bit longer than just 1 or 2 days because it looked really good, especially when I washed it and stuff like that. It was really shiny. It looked really, really good, and it was a bit of like a little bit of a, dare I say, like a show-off car, even though it was the oldest car. It's 2015 65 plate, but just in the summer it looked good. It looked really good. Anyway, so bought that other 5 Series, and then I bought this 5 Series, which was a 18 plate 530i. Now I know another 5 Series, but still, this one was brilliant. We still have it. It was 18 plate, so, you know, it was like warranty extended for longer, even longer, and it was a 530i as well, so it's petrol, and this one has 252 brake horsepower. So the other one's 520Ds have like, you know, 190 or 197. And this one proved pretty popular as well. You know, and this is, and then we had those cars all throughout summer. I wanted to sell the original, or the second 5 Series that we had, the original one of this generation, but because it was a 67 plate running out of warranty in September. So I had it for a while. You get used to, you know, people calling you left, right, centre for different stuff, offering you stupid money. And then one day I was out, and this guy called me. He was like a dealer. He was like, he has a customer that wants it, can he buy it? And I was like, okay. I was sort of expecting him to say like, oh, can I have like, you know, 50% off or some shit? That's what they usually say. He was like, oh, do you think you can do like £110 off just because I'm up in like Manchester or something, or Leeds, and you had to send a driver down to come and get it. He was like, just help me with the cost of that. And I was like, sure, let's do that. So he bought it there and then. He was like, send you deposit now. And he sent deposit, bought it, and that was that gone. So that was pretty good because it was getting out of warranty, because I didn't want to do end of warranty thing and the MOT. I mean, it's not a big deal, it doesn't cost a lot, but I generally don't like to keep them when they're out of warranty. I mean, one of the 5 Series that we have is currently out of warranty, but I try to not keep them when they're out of warranty, just because, you know, if something happens, whatever, you can just chuck it to BMW, they'll fix it, rather than having to cover that cost yourself. Obviously, there's exclusion for the 3 Series, which was very out of warranty. Even when we bought it, it was 65 plate, but at that time, you know, it's the only way that we could get into another car like that, because it lowered the price for us. Things started to get like a little bit quieter, because we're sort of maybe going to another lockdown again, and also it was at end of summer, people weren't really doing as much. We were looking to sell the other 3 Series as well. Same thing, got loads of different calls, and some guys called us and they wanted it, and they're pretty like stingy on the price, but anyway, it worked them down, and we sold that, and that was that. So now we have, where are we at? Let's do a little update. So we have in chronological order, we have the 4 Series, the 430i, which is the first car that we bought at lockdown. We have the 520D with the cream interior, the second car we bought at lockdown, and we have the 530i, which we bought at lockdown. And now we weren't too desperate to sort of buy another car, because as I said, it wasn't getting too busy, so we sort of, from the cars we sold, we sort of money sitting on. But a couple of people asked us about long-term rentals, which I will talk about in another video, but they wanted long-term rentals, and so we sort of dove into that. Again, I'll talk about another time. But we had those 3 cars, and then we bought the 2 cars for the long-term rentals, right? So we have that, and that's where we were in 2020. So that's basically how we got into Turo, and what we've been doing until now. In the lockdowns and stuff like that recently, it's been really dead, but we're lucky because, you know, we get really good reviews, and a lot of our customers, you know, like us and they come back to us. We have a couple of customers that, you know, come back to us all the time, or a couple of business customers, as in they come for business trips, not leisure. They come back to us, and you know, they rent once a month or something like that, which is really helpful when the Turo rentals are down. I'm predicting that when lockdown ends, what is it? It's March 23rd or something now, 26th, 23rd. I'm predicting when lockdown ends in April or whenever, it will get really busy like last year. So we have these 3 cars, but what cars am I looking at right now? So we've got all the way to today. There's rentals are picking up a little bit here and there, but I'm still looking for more cars. So what am I looking at? Number 1 is a new 3 Series, you know, the new generation 3 Series, the G whatever 1030, one of those ones in a nice spec. I'm looking at them. I've been looking at them for months and months and months, but you know, to wait to get a decent one, gotta wait a while, because with these 3 Series is that you can get one in a really good spec, but again, you can't see, you know, great photos. So you get one in a really good spec, but it'll come with like manual seats or something, which can't run. It just can't run. I'm not giving manual seats to someone that's paying 100 plus a day for a luxury car. They get manual seats, man. No. So, you know, you've got to watch out for that. So generally, if you get one with a really good spec, whatever, it will come with electric everything, and you'll get nothing like that. But you always got to be careful. And generally with cars like when they have low engines, like a 320D or a 320i, they don't come with anything special. Whereas something like 330i or the 430i we had, and plus, is a bit of a bigger engine, so they come standard with a little bit more toys. which is always great. But I'm sometimes a bit wary about giving too much of a big engine, because I think people take the piss. You know, every set of traffic lights are just so around it. I'm also looking at X3 because everyone that rented off us always asked, you know, like, do you got any SUVs? Because the thing with Turo is that in that time, they had an insurance group limit of 36 and below, which was ridiculous. So you can put anything on there. The 520Ds were just about on it, you know. So you know, you couldn't get a car that was. You had to watch out for which car you got, because they might be the insurance group might be too high, and you can't put them on Turo because the insurance doesn't allow it. We're looking for an X3 because we really want an SUV, because SUV would rent really well. But again, with the X3, a lot of them come. They come. I don't know. When people buy them new, they don't spec them out in good specs. No one has Harman Kardon sound system. No one has stuff. Some of them come with manual seats in an SUV. Are you mad? Are you mad? And I can't even see from the photos whether it has it or not. So we've got to watch out for that. So generally, you know, again, this is where sticking to one manufacturer sort of helps, because you get to then see. So I know if it has a certain type of wheels, it will have M Sport Plus, and the X3 as well, and it has blue brake calipers. It works for that as well, and it will probably have a better spec. Well, it does have a better spec already, but it'll probably have an even better spec, and it will probably not have manual seats. You know, having like Harman Kardon sound system in one thing, is one thing, but you know, that's great for customers. But having manual seats is like a necessity. There's some spec where you need it as a necessity. Or like tinted windows, it's fine. I can tint them myself, not myself, but I can take it to be tinted. In fact, I prefer that because the BMW tint is too light. But some things are just a necessity. So I'm looking for that, and that's what we're planning. And we're also planning to get a convertible, 4 Series convertible. Now this is one where we'll get it, and it'll be a little bit older, because a 2024 Series looks the same as a 2014 4 Series. Yeah, I know there's an LCI update and the lights look a bit different. Yeah, but with a convertible, it doesn't make any difference, right? So that's going to be a little bit older, but I want one in, you know, good condition, obviously. And that one has to have good spec, you know, because that'd be great. And that'd be great for summer, you know, when rentals blow up in summer, and you got, you know, nice weather. People are going to be renting convertible all the time, I think. Well, at least I'm going to be driving it if it's not. So I'm going to put it out for extra high price so that I can drive it more. So yeah, that's that. So I'm going to do separate videos on finances, on some other separate stories, on selling the cars, on choosing specific spec. But this was just sort of like an introduction on how we got started on Turo from 2019 to now, and how it's gone through the different times. But if you do have any questions, drop them below, and I will try and answer them. If it's something that's quite popular, I'm going to do a video on it. I'll let you know, and I'll tell you that I'm going to do a video on it. I am going to do a lot more videos, but just let me know if you have any questions, and because I know a lot of people contact me all the time saying that they want to get started into Turo and they want to start renting cars, but you know, they don't know what to think, because yeah, like, it's difficult, it's risky, and it is a hard thing to jump into. But at the end of the day, I always say, if it was easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? So it's not going to be easy, but whole advice on Turo, again, I'll do it in another video. I think I've talked more about what I'm going to do in other videos than actually talking in this video, but that's how it's going to be. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a ramble, but it's hard to sort of pinpoint down the story and exactly how we got started. I'm sure there's things that I missed, or maybe some things that aren't, you know, exactly accurate, whatever. But generally, that's how it went, and that's how it's going now. I'm going to keep you updated about, you know, the car situation and which cars we sell and which cars we're going to be buying. And I'm going to put up a video on how I wash the cars. I think part 1 is going to be on the exterior, because that is probably, to me, apart from the actual car, is the most essential part of you know, Turo, is giving the car not just clean, but really like sparkling, you know. Like, you know, give it a wow factor, inside and outside. You know, people want a nice car. So that's that. Subscribe if you want to see those more videos. Give this video a like, or help me out. And as I said, let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you on the next video.